So a bunch of new information came out over the past day or so. I just finished editing and uploading the other Titanfall video I did. It was about the Gamescom event that live stream is gonna go on. But now a new single player trailer came out. You can find it at Jack Frag's channel, Sarrail channel, and Jack's channel, Titanfall Legends. If you want to watch the full length of the trailer and their opinions on it, and what the thoughts were, that since they actually attended a presentation, you can go and watch their videos individually. I wasn't invited. I didn't get permission to post the whole video, so I'm just gonna give you the screenshots I could gather that actually talk about multiplayer info. But apart from this, just before we start looking at the images, I just want to talk about a couple bits of news that came from various sources during this reveal. The first one being that the campaign is roughly 8 hours long, like a little bit less or a little bit more depending on your skill and the difficulty you play it on. Now from the video we can actually gather that either they were playing at a very easy difficulty just to showcase weapons and movement in there, or the campaign difficulty isn't that high to start off with. So if I can give you any recommendation, if you want a full experience from a Titanfall game, you should just start playing it from the highest difficulty. I guess that will actually help you get into multiplayer a lot faster. To those PS4 users that haven't played it, just go into the campaign on the hardest difficulty, or the one before the hardest if there's any. I feel like that will improve your ability to handle each weapon and Titans as you would with other human players. And the last piece of news, before we get into the video, apparently Respawn accidentally released a video called Pilot Training Certification, which is actually, if you played the original Titanfall, before you could go, when you start the game, you had to go through the tutorial. And it was basically a series of courses where it taught you how to wall run, how to shoot, how to aim, use grenades, and basically the basics of the game. They accidentally released it for the pilot certification, the tutorial for Titanfall 2. I say it was an accident because since then they have privated the video and you can't watch it anymore. It's not available anywhere, I think. Everywhere I looked, I just can't see it. But if you want opinions on the whole course and what weapons were shown and stuff like that, I recommend you visit the Titanfall subreddit on Mike's post. I'm gonna link it in the description. If I forget, I'm really sorry. So let's get right into this new trailer. It starts off in some kind of jungle nature, and I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. The wildlife looks absolutely amazing, like taken straight out of Avatar. But that's basically all I'm gonna show you from that's not multiplayer related. So let's get into multiplayer. This is a new gun we haven't seen. Maybe we have, but I didn't spot it in my video I did. It looks like an assault rifle of some kind, and if you actually see right beside it, it gives him the option to pick up an EVA shotgun. Apparently this time around it's fully automatic. We can suppose it's fully automatic, so maybe they nerfed it. I feel like they did. I don't think the EVA is going to be as strong as it was in the first Titanfall, but still interesting to see it. Next up, it's a Titan fight, a Titan level where you're your Titan, and apparently he is wielding chain gun. This is really weird for me because this chain gun looks like the chain gun from Titanfall 1, but it doesn't match what was spotted in the other trailers. Like a big Gatling gun, which I thought was going to be the replacement for the chain gun. I'm interested to see if they're different guns, if they're the same guns, but they just decided to reskin them in different places. I don't know, but I'm really interested to see where it goes on from there. Like it plays like a normal chain gun. It doesn't play like the splitter rifle that you get in that we saw in the demo. It plays like the chain gun, like the original chain gun. So I'm interested to see. After that, the Titan picks up a 40 mil. First, when I saw this, I was really excited. 40 mil is back. It looks, almost exactly the same as it looked before, just with a few added paint jobs. Maybe this is looking into customization we're gonna have for weapons. But one thing you can actually see is the whole ability set the Titan has completely changes when he picks up a new gun. I don't think this is going to be present in multiplayer, but it's really interesting how these abilities are tied to the weapons. Now, one thing that was hugely controversial on the Reddit was that below the 40 mil name, like, it says it has rounds that establish partial locks. So people instantly assumed this was the new smart pistol for Titans. This was going to be the new weapon, turning one of the more skill-based weapons in Titanfall 1, they turned it into a new weapon. But it was later confirmed that that was not the case, that the 40 mil doesn't have any sort of lock-on or aim assist mechanics by its own. When you shoot it and hit a target, it grants you a lock-on for one of your missiles on your ordnance, I guess. Meaning, if you do good in a fight, it will act like a snowball effect. Like, if you do enough damage, this will allow you to do even more damage by shooting the missiles on your back. Interested to see how this works. Kind of a cool mechanic, rewarding players for landing accurate shots. And I guess it's glad to see, because at one point, like in the trailer, you would go watch it, you can actually kind of see like the trail of the bullet be curving. But I guess that was just a glitch that's been there since Titanfall 1. When you shot bullets while moving, it actually looked like the bullets were curving into your target, when actually it was like trying to portray the trail coming from your gun. But I guess since you were moving, the trail would curve to you rather than to your opponent. So I guess I'm glad to hear that the 40 mil doesn't lock on to enemy Titans. Just a couple seconds after that, he kills, I think, one Titan, and before he gets out of his Titan, he drops a particle wall. Now, my main problem with the particle wall in the first game was that the particle wall you saw was not the entirety of it. Like, even beyond where it showed like the particle wall ending, you could still not shoot through it. Now, this was really frustrating when I'm trying to kill a Titan. I'm clearly above ground from him and have the advantage for taking cover and stuff. And I'm hitting him, he drops the particle wall, and even though I'm aiming above where the particle wall ends, my shot is still being stopped by the particle wall because its hitbox is so damn large that you can't see how large it is. I mean, it was like basically a false portrayal of how big the particle wall is. Now this one looks like it has a bit more shape to it, so I hope they fix that glitch, bug, or whatever you want to call it. Next up, the pilot actually gets up of his Titan, and we can catch the R97. He actually shoots a couple grunts with it. It looks pretty much the same from the original, just a bit updated. And I mean, it's looking good. I'm happy. Then he gets back into his Titan, starts killing another Titan, and activates the salvo core, which you can see right here. So from what I can assume is that the salvo core is tied to whatever Titan is wielding the 40 mil, which is, I mean, I'm not too thrilled with this, not because it's tied to the 40 mil, but because it's just another damage output, damage increase core. In the first game we had the shield core for the ogre, the dash core for the strider, and the damage core for the atlas. The easiest one to use from all of those being the atlas, which you just basically activate and you get a straight damage buff. You don't have to play differently, you don't have to change your style of play, you just have to keep shooting at the enemy because you're just doing straight up more damage. With a strider, you have to time your dashes and, you know, dash in different directions to make you the hardest possible enemy to hit, all while still shooting your enemy and trying to keep your reticle on them, which is pretty hard given that you're moving extremely fast. I guess this was one of the hardest, basically the hardest core to use. And the Ogre Titan basically allowed you to completely waste your shield core if you activate it but you still have a shield, because what it would do, it just basically gave you a shield that's a bit stronger from your original, but it wouldn't protect your original shield. So to use the Ogre's core efficiently, you basically had to wait till your shield was down and then activate your shield so you basically got it back and turn the tide of the battle, forcing the enemy player to like re-damage your shield just to get to your actual health. And so far in Titanfall 2, any core we've seen is just based around pure damage. You know, Sword core is just about damaging your opponent with melees. The Scourge's ability just damaging your opponent with a big wall of fire. Ion's ability just damaging your opponent with a big red laser out of his chest, and this one's just huge rockets launched from your shoulders. I don't see where the variety is coming in, where the hero shooter vibe is here. So I hope Salvo Core is not in multiplayer for the simple reason that we have another chance at having a core that it's not just straight up damage based. So that's why I'm not too excited for that. Now, I guess a bit further down the trailer, almost hitting the end here, you get the option to pick up what's called a tick. Now, if you go forward like 1 second, he picks it up and drops the fire star. Now what the tick is, it's apparently a robot that you place in the ground. It kind of like pops its little head up and then explodes like C4. What use will that be in multiplayer? I honestly don't know, but you know, it's interesting to see it there. Now, next up is something very controversial again. Like, these 2 days were really crazy in the Titanfall subreddit. You see your character Jack Cooper just taking down a grunt, but you don't see it from his point of view, you see it from third person. Now, you know, if this was only for single player, I guess most people would have been okay with it. Yet Drew McCoy confirmed that all executions, assassinations, and embarkings in your Titan are in third person and third person only. There's no way to toggle first person. There's no way to make it there. They're not gonna implement it. I guess this is, I mean, he gave the excuse that it was for situational awareness, but honestly, that's just bullshit. You gain no situational awareness from boarding your Titan for third person or killing a grunt from third person. So I guess why they did this is just to purely show off whatever cosmetics you equipped on your pilot and or Titan. The way I found to be okay with it or look at it is kind of comparing it to Halo 5, where basically you got an assassination on a player. You would basically be taunting them, saying it, I'm better than you and I have to sit through watching me assassinating you and living for that humiliation. And I mean, I'm not too happy with this information, but it's nothing game breaking. It's immersion breaking, but not game breaking. So I'm okay with it. Next up, we see a new gun we haven't seen before, I don't think. It's called the Bolt, which is energy actuated SMG. What this means, I honestly don't know. It's a gun and it looks cool for me. So I guess that's all I can say on that topic. you fast forward a little bit, and there's this where he starts fighting like this sort of giant specter thing, and you see him actually wielding a hemlock, which comes from the first game, but it looks a lot updated and I guess new. I mean, it looks good and very like almost very near the end. We catch a sight of the new Kraber. I mean, I don't like it. It doesn't look as powerful as it did in the first game. It looks, I mean, if you take the magazine off of it, like just straight up cut it, I feel it looks more like a G2A rifle, which by the way we haven't seen any footage of it, and I'm really hoping that gun returns. But you know, it looks light, it looks little, it doesn't look menacing and big like the original Kraber was. I personally don't like the looks. It does look new, but I don't like it. Maybe you do, so I mean, I guess I'm just happy that the Kraber is actually back. And yeah, that's all I could really find in terms of multiplayer information in these trailers. And if you really want to watch them to kind of get a feel of what the single player is going to be like, I really recommend you go watch in any of the channels I've mentioned before, or just look Titanfall single player trailer or gameplay, and you're just gonna be one of the first things to pop up. So tell me what you think about watch the trailer. Tell me what you think about it, and comment down below. I'd be happy to hear your opinions. So yeah, thank you for watching.